So I've created a new character, and I'm not sure how effective this character is going to be and how well the character is going to fit into the current series, and I just have to be sure that there is a purpose behind the character and they actually serve a purpose in the story and the way the story goes, or they help perhaps the reader understand the story a lot better. I like to look at certain things when I'm introducing a character into a series or book. I do believe that there is an intention behind everything. Every character I write, especially a recurring character who just keeps appearing in the books, they are there for a reason. They are there to symbolize something. Whether it's the struggle, whether it's the struggle of the villain. I like to highlight the struggle of the villain as well. I like to highlight the conflict that sometimes occurs between the villain and the hero, or the protagonist and the antagonist. I like to look at all these balances, and I like to make sure that whoever I'm writing into the story will have a purpose, will have an aim, something that they do, or something that will serve some sort of purpose, whether it's conflict resolution, or whether it's moving the plot along, or whether it's destroying everything in their wake because they have no concept of self-control. So I'm not one to write a character for the sake of just writing them. I mean, if you take the Dwellers Beneath the Arches series, so that's a series there. Every character in that series, so you have the first book, which is Browning House. Every character in that the Dwellers, every character in this series serves a purpose. So, for example, you have Asher, you have Jonathan, you have Sarah, and then behind them you have the Dwellers and the smaller figures. And these three, they each symbolize something different. Obviously, Asher has a very tragic story to her beginnings, and she represents a very foreign element that it has been put in a position outside of their comfort zone, and how they learn to adapt to that new environment. Jonathan represents that teenager, or that young person who is greatly oppressed at home. But from our point of view, from the outsider's point of view, it doesn't represent oppression because he's supposed to be wealthy. They all are. They're all wealthy, but they're all still oppressed. And then Sarah represents someone who, she represents one of those kids who have those parents who are so negligent. They have all the money, they have all the power, but there is a lot of neglect as well, which people don't think can exist. That you can't have money and a big house but still be neglected, but you can still very much be emotionally neglected. So all these characters play certain roles and they show certain things, and so do the Dwellers as well. And then going further on into the series, you have like this character, and that the little boy he's holding on to. And this character is one of the most complex characters I've ever had to write as well. And basically the whole issue around this video is I started writing a character for my Heathens series, which is this series, and I want to make sure that the character serves a strong purpose. What is the point of the character? Will the character further the plot along, or are they just there as a filler? I don't really like fillers. I don't know why. Every character who I mention is there for a reason. Even though I mention them fleetingly, they are there for a reason, and I like to make the best use of them possible. Suddenly it dawned on him they were true. All the stories of disappearances in the forest had been fairly accurate, and now here he was, trapped, with no idea of how to warn the others that it was all true. Their mothers, fathers, sisters and brothers hadn't run out on them. They'd been taken by witches. Quick as a flash, he jumped out, hoping he could outrun them, but he found he couldn't move. He remained rooted to the spot, and scared. No matter how he tried, he was stuck, staring at them. They were both male witches, and they glanced upon him with an air of amusement. No matter how many warnings we give about this forest, you all keep coming. So now we have to kill you. So I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. I've been writing for a couple of hours this afternoon. I don't usually write in the afternoon, but I realised there was a problem with a character I'd written earlier, and I knew that I had to deal with the issue and I just couldn't hope for it to go away. And with this character in particular, he was someone that I introduced suddenly to the series when I had, a flash of inspiration. The issue with little flashes of inspiration is they can always lead you into something else entirely, another story, something else that could be a different timeline or another series altogether. So you have to be, you can be very sporadic, but then you also have to be very careful with every character that goes into the story, or else you might start running into like little issues where characters don't do what they're supposed to do because they become very real in your mind, and then it takes everything in a completely different direction. So I feel like everything has been resolved now. I feel like my character has a purpose. He's there for a reason, and he's there for a very good reason, and I've managed to flesh out what his role is in the books and what purpose he's going to play, and is he going to be an antagonist or is he going to be a protagonist? That's very important as well. Or is he always going to go between both roles? Because characters can be heroes and they can also be villains. People will do what best suits them at the time, and you can never underestimate someone who is quite desperate. That's my opinion anyway. So people will surprise you all the time. But yeah, it's been very productive. I've written a few more pages. My hands are sort of starting to cramp up a bit. But I'm happy with what I've written. And like I always say, they are good words, because you can write a lot and it can all be a pile of garbage. But I'm happy with it, and it's going in the right direction, and there's going to be a bit of a climax as well in this part of the story. So I'm probably going to finish it in the next live stream, which will be in the morning. And yeah, I'm very happy with this. And yeah, keep writing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.